Lars Perner is joining us. He is an assistant professor of clinical marketing at the Marshall School of Business at the University of Southern California. However, he is joining us live from Indianapolis, where he is at the Autism Society of America's conference. Lars is currently the chair of the panel of persons on the spectrum of autism, and he serves as an advisor to the Autism Society. So first of all, Lars, welcome to Autism Live.
Thanks for having me.
So thrilled to have you here. Talk to us a little bit about what the panel of persons on the spectrum of autism is and what it's going to be doing at the conference.
Well, we normally use the abbreviation, the PSA. It rolls off the tongue a little bit easier. So basically, we're advisors to the Autism Society. We're different people on the spectrum, so we can relate to our own experiences, what we've gone through in life, and the experiences we've had. One of the things, as you know, with autism is that we've got people who are so different from each other, so you need multiple different voices in order to understand the implications of different policies for the autism spectrum. So we advise the board and other groups. Sometimes we review print material and other material to go out and generally try to help where we can.
And this is so essential because, you know, as a parent of a child who's on the autism spectrum, we talk a lot about trying to teach our kids perspective taking. And yet I find a lot, Lars, that I'm lacking in perspective taking. And I know other parents that have said this as well, that what we want more than anything else is to know what it's like to be in our children's heads, but sometimes we can't do that. And by being able to talk to adults who are on the spectrum and hear their perspectives, it enriches all of us. Don't you agree?
Yes, I think that's very much the case. There are a lot of things, again, that we take for granted about ourselves, whether on the spectrum or not. It's very difficult sometimes to understand how other people are different. Those of us on the spectrum have learned over the years very often how our experience may be different from that of others. It's a lot harder now if you have to, being in the general population, suddenly having to understand what people on the spectrum feel.
Yeah. And so which day you're going to be doing the panel and you'll have a conversation with everybody at the conference? Which day is that happening?
Well, actually, what we're doing this year is that we're having lunch groups. So rather than having a regular panel session, we're going to have 2 days at lunch. I believe it's both Wednesday and Thursday. And it's sort of an open agenda so people can come in and sit with people on both the panel of PSA and the panel of professional advisors. So we'll have some list of the different specialties that we feel comfortable with. So it will be more an individual type of question and answer this time around. It's a new thing we're trying this year. In the past, we've had sessions where the whole panel would sit in front of an audience and usually talk about a particular topic.
How exciting is this, though? I mean, as a parent, you know, to be able to meet with different people of different backgrounds and different areas of interest and ask them questions, I just think it's a great, great opportunity. And Lars, I'm sure that you've had a lot of parents come up to you and ask you questions. What do they usually want to know from you?
Well, there are a lot of different things that come up. Sometimes it may be an issue about particular problems, or it may be a question about what may be the future for my child be like. One of the things, almost always, sensory issues that come up, and you know, often if you can deal with sensory problems, those are sometimes difficult to deal with, but often you can fairly easily, take some of the pressure off by relieving some things. For example, I had once a father who was concerned his son didn't like to get new clothes. And I told him, well, you may want to, when he gets new clothes, you may want to wash the clothes 15 times before he gets it. When you get clothes off the shelf, it may have all sorts of nasty chemicals on it that some of us can feel. It may also be a little rough, but this was, again, a family where economically it wouldn't be a problem to wash 15 times. But that's an example of, a problem that a parent may come with and how we may be able to give some advice on those things. Though also I spoke once to a parent whose son didn't like to shower, and I suggested they might think about taking baths instead. That can sometimes be less invasive for the body.
All of these things it's important information to be able to share. And Lars, you are a professor, but you're somebody who got a diagnosis of, correct me if I'm wrong, you got an Asperger diagnosis, and you got it at a rather late age. Am I right?
Yes, I was 31 when I got the diagnosis, and this was, back when the term wasn't very well known. So it suddenly started having a lot of things make sense to me. I'm very fortunate, by the way, being one of those aspects where I actually get paid for talking about my special interests in great detail.
Well, and some other time I want to have you back on the show just to talk about clinical marketing, because it looks like something that we all need. But I wanted to take just a minute before we have to say goodbye to you to talk about your book, Scholars with Autism. This is a book that we all need to have.
Well, so this was a book that had actually been in the planning with several other people, and I was brought in along the line. One of the people who had initially agreed to edit found out he couldn't do this. So this is a case where we have people who either ended up in academic professions or otherwise got a fair amount of education and were using this, such as, for example, a social worker. And we talk about our lives, emphasizing particularly the times when we were in elementary and high school, primarily the early years, so you get a feeling for some of the challenges and some of the opportunities that we faced. And again, recognizing that everybody is different, it's very nice to have a collection of several different perspectives here. And we struggled with different types of problems. Some things were common among us, some of us were very different. But this is something, again, that a parent might read. And, often you find that there are some people who are very good models of a particular person. So you may read an account of one person, and that person may have a lot of similarities with your child. So you know that this is where you might be able to learn a lot from vicarious experience and the things we picked up over the years. And that's why it's so helpful to have chapters by a lot of people. Our chapters, for example, by Leanne Holiday, Willie and Temple Grandin, Dina Gassner, Stephen Shaw, Valerie Paradis, and a number of other contributors.
Yeah, it's really remarkable. And this book, Scholars with Autism, it's available on Amazon, correct?
Yes, it's available on Amazon. And it's also available from the publisher, but they definitely have it on Amazon. They also have it at conferences where Future Horizons booths.
Well, I really wish that we were there at the conference with you. It sounds incredible. For people who are going to the conference, we want to encourage them on Wednesday and Thursday to go to that lunch meeting and have an opportunity to speak with Lars and with other people on the panel of persons on the spectrum of autism. Lars, thank you so much for being with us.